Wait,
Uh,
we didn't capture enough of the, can you hear me? I can't hear
can
you.
you hear
Can
me?
you hear
I
me
can hear
now?
you. No. Then the hang up and the recall in, all that stuff. It's so funny.
Okay.
Okay, wait, I'm getting a timekeeper so we can actually be on time.
Oh, look at you. I would like to use the
Ah,
name of a timekeeper that people love to take to the gym that I've never tried, but we won't give them a shout out. What's
oh,
timekeeper on your, oh,
I'm just using my phone. It's not scientific.
okay.
Okay, so we're gonna do. Are we just winging it? Do you want me to just
We
start?
are just winging it. I can hear
Okay,
you. You can hear me.
and we're gonna go.
We are going to
Okay,
go.
so I'll do the welcome thing when I'm gonna hit start for my timer. Okay,
I know I'm
ready?
a little shiny behind me, but that's what we got. Okay. I am ready. And one, oh, give me, you got to do this, like Ron WKRP, 3, 2, 1, or something like
We're so cheesy.
that. And go.
Okay. Okay, welcome to the wycwyc podcast, season 1, episode 2. We have such high hopes. We're already planning on seasons.
Seasons, I love that. Season 1, EP2.
Yes, well, I'm like an ex programmer-minded multimedia developer, so I'm very specific with my naming conventions. I have to come up with a naming convention right off the bat. It's just
And
how
I'm
I'm wired.
addicted to Bravo, so I'm very focused on what season is it?
Oh, see, this works.
We
This
work
totally
together.
works. This is why we work well
I
together.
know. So we're back. We did it.
We did, and this is so fun. And the feedback we got for the first podcast was great. And
Oh,
I
should we
love
mention
my
we changed the behind the scenes? How this is like the,
yes. So we're recording behind the scenes. So if you're listening on iTunes, you have, of course, the traditional podcast. But then, because Carl and I are well, we're not on different coasts anymore, but we're in different areas of the world.
we don't live
Uh,
together.
we don't live together. We record our podcast via Google Hangouts, and because technology is so awesome, we do a behind the scenes video of our podcast recording sessions on YouTube. We are media mavens. We
Ah,
own it all. YouTube, iTunes, we're everywhere. It's great.
Maven Guru. That's what we got.
Yes.
And we're back. We've got
We
number
are back.
2. And I have something to share. I don't know
Yeah, I
that
was
I will
gonna
have
say
something to share.
I
I
need
know.
to hear all about the walking marathon or half marathon because I am fascinated
I
by
know.
walking for 13.1 miles.
It was super fun, and it was quintessential wycwyc. I mean, so much like we talked about last time of my movement exercise is all of that these days. But I signed up for the race in August because I knew I wasn't allowed to say, but I knew we were moving back to Austin. I thought, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And because I'm crazy, I do this all the time, I thought, I'm going to run this half marathon. And then, of course, quickly after that, I reminded myself, I'm just not a runner. It's not that I'm busy. It's just not my priority,
Right.
and I don't love it, but I love to walk. So I solicited a million different training programs and talked to a friend who actually kind of had talked to Hal Higdon. Is that right?
Yes, Hal
And
Hagman. Yes, I used to
yes.
read his training programs all the time. I base
And
all
he
my
was
stuff on him.
saying, yes, that you could use his half marathon training program for walking. I got all the information and I did absolutely nothing, and I did absolutely everything I could. It was really all I did since I decided I was going to do the half, so that was like end of August, was quite literally squeezing in the steps where I could.
Right.
What we've talked about before, using the upstairs bathroom. I volunteered to carry all the laundry up, pretending to forget something in the grocery, or going back to the front of the store and grabbing something that I might not really need, but just to get my step count up,
Hmm.
because my only goal was enjoying the process. I did not want to be, I was walking it with my sister and a friend, and they're both very fast walkers, so I didn't want to be so not prepared that I didn't enjoy the process of the half marathon, or so beaten down the next day because I was so sore.
Right.
And it
I
was
think
awesome.
walking with people just all day actually sounds really fun for me.
Oh my
Like I
gosh.
could just
But
walk
I
all
know.
day. Like it's
Now I
not.
want to walk a full marathon, which is crazy town, but it was
It
so
is crazy town.
but it was so fun and restorative. And I know I had a friend already say to me, if you do the marathon, you need to get some more specific training going, which is when I realized, you know what, I really am wicking my life. And I could do that with the half. There's so many steps I take in my life day to day, and we all do, and we can kind of make that a little more challenging. But I felt really prepared. It was super fun. I could not believe how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it would be really fun. I mean, it gives you even like I did the marathon in November, which I was underprepared for. Again, it's infuriating. I'm really not. I'm trying to be a runner. Have been trying to be a runner. But anything over the half marathon is such a commitment, and it seems like life for me always gets in the way, and I end up doing a very wycwyc approach and then being underprepared for the full marathon.
But you did it. I forgot.
But I did do it. Yeah. I never regret doing it. And I did it last time with a friend, and we ran the whole thing together. And that was 5 hours of running alongside someone and talking. It was great. It was amazing. Like I like to talk.
But I admire that. I mean, I could
Really
no
fun.
more. I did not have any interest in running. My sister, ex-runner, I could tell she was a little bit chomping at the bit, like, oh my gosh, if I just took off, this would be so much shorter. But it was unbelievably fun. I think that everybody should walk a 1 mile race, walk a 5K, walk. I mean, it's amazing how it doesn't take that much.
It was a really eye-opening experience for me to run in my first ever like event. I think it was like 2008 when I ran my first 5K. Like I didn't know the culture of running an event. I was totally new to it. And the first time I did a 5K, it was a challenge. Somebody challenged me, and they said, "You should run a 5K." And I'm like, "You're crazy. I can't run. Like I can't run." That's all. That's all I kept saying was, "I can't run." And I did it. And I mean, to be honest, I looked at this particular 5K, and I looked at the year before's results, and I saw that people were doing 5K in like 60 plus minutes. And I did the math, and I thought, wait a minute, if I walk, I can do it in 60 minutes. So I think I had this fear of, I don't want to be the last one across the finish line, and I'm so out of shape, and I don't, and it was all these fears. But then when I realized that there were a gamut of people who like were running their fastest ever, 5K, to people who are just going to walk it leisurely because that's what they do, I thought, okay, well, I fall in the middle of the spectrum. I should be okay. And once I did it, and I was on that, and now I was on the start line, and I felt like a fish out of water, like that I didn't really belong. And I was like looking around at these people with fanny packs and water bottles, and I was like, I don't know if I fit into this group. But the energy and
oh my gosh,
atmosphere,
so much fun.
Oh my God,
it's dark and getting ready to do this.
Yes. And it's so energizing. It's just so energizing to be around a group of people, no matter like the size of the marathon. It could be 10,000 people or 100 people. There's just something about a group of people getting around this event where we're going to do this, and we're all going to do it at our level, and everyone cheers everyone else on.
That there was no, I mean, I was committed to walking. I had absolutely no plan to run a step. And we got there early, of course, because I'm neurotic, and we were hanging out, and no one, when we told people we were walking it, they're like, that is awesome. Are you so excited?
Yes. Everyone at a running event is like the most welcoming people ever. It's just, I rarely ever meet anybody who's just, I don't know, snobby and doesn't want to interact with anyone. Like I talk to random people on the start lines, and it's just, it's like the running events just is a, I don't know, little microcosm of awesome people that just come and do these things.
And it was interesting. A friend of mine, Allison, hardcore marathoner, injured, now a walker, said, and I thought, I never would have thought of that she will ask certain races where the cutoff might be too short to walk it, half marathon or marathon, if she can start early. And she said often they will let her start early.
Yeah.
They're that supportive. And I just think it was so much fun. I'm not a runner. I'm going to do this again. It didn't require any more training than making my life really deconvenient and kind of a pain in the ass for a few months. And it was really fun. So I wycwyc'd my walk, and I loved it. It was really fun.
That's great. That's awesome. That's so much fun. I had a snow day yesterday here on the East Coast, and I was joking on social media that I literally walked up and down because I had both kids home. And, Mommy, can I have a drink? Mommy, I have to go potty. Mommy, can I have a snack? Mommy, can you play this game with me? Can you do this puzzle with me? I was wishing I was wearing some kind of pedometer or fitness wearable, because I think
you didn't have one? Oh.
I didn't have one on.
Yes.
I haven't really worn them lately. It was like, I risk to call it a phase, but it was like I wore them, I used to wear one, and then it kind of like made me more aware. And then when the awareness is there, I almost don't need it anymore. And then I'll need the awareness again. I kind of go, it's like a food journal. I kind of go through phases with it. Like sometimes I want to be like hyper aware of what I'm doing. Yes. And then other times I want to trust myself and live on autopilot. But then I have to bring myself back.
If mine were to watch, I would never leave it on. I wouldn't think of that.
Yeah, so I go through phases with it. But man, I wish I was wearing it yesterday because for as much as I didn't go out of the house because it was snowing,
Yes.
I took the flight of stairs to my house. I mean, I literally, I must have ran 25 to 30 flights up and down stairs.
Okay, snow day. Let's talk about that because I saw a lot on social media and got emails from friends about the kids, the food, the snow
Yes.
day. Do you keep up the healthy eating? And I know you and I had talked about kitchen stuff, food sneaks, healthy
We
eating, all of
did,
that.
yeah. And actually, this is a really good transition because yesterday, and I shared this on social media too because I'm an oversharer. I'm an oversharer on social media. My son had a friend over, and so I was figuring out what to make them for lunch. We basically just had like peanut butter and jelly and grilled cheese sandwiches. Um, but I'm trying to bring back a salad habit. I don't know how you are with salads, but you buy a bag of salad greens and some cherry tomatoes, and bam, you have a little side salad with your meal. And
Yes.
we go through phases with this. And
I
so my
love that you
family,
say the bag because I do that all the
yeah, I
time.
do
I'm
the bag. I
all
do the
about
bag.
thank you. I
I
would have
don't have
thought
time
you
to
would
wash
not
my
have
own
been
lettuce.
okay, because I'm
So
like, I will pay more money for the bag.
oh, I will too. Only for convenience. I mean, I still buy heads of lettuce depending on, if I'm going to do wraps or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm very much like that's one of those convenient things that
Oh
I
my
think
gosh, yeah.
we would never eat salad if it wasn't for a bag sometimes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're trying to get back into this habit of salads with dinner and I brought it up at lunch. I'm like, oh, we have the lettuce. Do you want to have a little salad? And my 9-year-old was like, oh yeah, he was really excited about a salad. So I thought, and his friend ate one too. I was so proud of them, like these two little
Did.
9-year-olds having a grilled cheese sandwich and a side salad with cherry
Why
tomatoes
does
and
it make me
cucumbers.
laugh too? Like when my daughter
It
will
made
say,
me
maybe we
smile.
can have a salad. I'm like, the word salad coming out of a 9-year-old mouth
It's just
cracks me
weird.
up. It
Well,
is.
the funny part was, so he uses I make my own dressings for myself, but my husband likes this like creamy Italian classic creamy dressing, and he likes to drizzle it on, but he's really bad at it. Like he puts it on, it's like this glob.
Oh my God.
So he always asks me to do asks me to do it, and so I drizzled it on really nice, and he was like, "Look at my salad, it's perfect, it's so perfect. Will you take a picture and
Did
put
you?
it on
Oh, I
Facebook?"
see. I missed that. That would have made me laugh. I missed that.
Oh my gosh, I created a monster. But here I am. I have a 9-year-old son who's asking and excited about salad, which is like a big. I thought I patted myself on the back of that one. I was like, did a good job there.
Okay. So we've got. So he's excited about salad, and mine is excited about the salad. I am struggling, and I own this. That for some reason, and I can't even. Sorry, Tracy, whom I love on social media. I can't stand zucchini. It is not my deal. But I'm
Oh,
obsessed with the zoodles.
zoodle.
So I have
Every-
my spiralizer, which made the move, and I've never opened it, and I have a zucchini in the fridge, and I am hardcore about not sneaking healthy stuff
yes.
into her food. So I'm going to let her help me spiralize it and zoodle it and give it to her. But my husband, he would be a sneaker. He said, why don't you just zoodle and then do half zoodles and have some pasta and mix it up? I'm like, you know what? For me, forget Rockstar Mom. Even forget the fact she's not creating new habits if we do this. It's a
Right.
trust thing. I am not sneaking something on her and then saying, bam, guess what you ate? I'm not losing that trust. So it's the healthy habits and the trust, but I am not a sneaker. He would sneak in a millisecond. What would you, are you, you're not a
I'm
sneaker.
I'm not I'm a sneak. I'm like a partial sneaker. I sneak and then tell them I'm sneaking, but in a very like openly sneak. Does that
That's,
is,
yes,
is
because
that
we'll
a
try
thing?
to sneak on ourselves though. Like, see, we couldn't taste the kale.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a really big I'm what I call a bulker cooker. Like I learned a long time ago that the more vegetables I put into meals, then the more volume I can eat.
Yeah.
And I'm a volume eater. I like to eat, I like to feel full. Like I kind of own that about myself. Like
Yes.
I'm not going to live on, like some people say, oh, they had like a cheese stick for a snack. I'm like, no, that's too small. I'm sorry.
I know.
I
I
need
love when I
something
see the
bigger.
studies about people who eat very, very little. Very little. All the
Yeah, I'm
studies
not a
they live
bird.
longer. I'm like, oh, and it's going to feel really long. Like I
Yeah,
can't do
I
it.
can't do it. So I learned and it's like I think it's funny that you bring up zucchini because I love zucchini
You
for the
do.
purpose that it
I
is
wish
the best bulker because you could put it in anything like chili, or you could puree it in sauces. Like it's nondescript, so it's like the best kind of like volume
Yeah,
adder
that's a
bulker
good
kind of
point.
vegetable.
Yes.
Yeah, so in that sense, I really like it. And so I have a recipe on Greenlight Bites where I do like they'll never guess what's in their pizza sauce, you know, where I'm putting like every vegetable in my pantry into this pizza sauce. But I mean, that was when my niece needs to be snuck on because she won't eat things if she knows that there's a vegetable in them. But for my kids, like I sneak them in and then go, oh yeah, do you know what's in this sauce? Like zucchini and carrots, and it's all good
and then
for
it's
you.
more of a game.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I wish it was just the way people cooked. Like, shouldn't we all be trying to get more vegetables in all the time? And kale's a big one too, yeah, because I can't get my family just to eat like a side of greens, like warm cooked greens, like collards or kale. It's just, I've tried and it doesn't work. And so the only way I can get the family to eat kale is if I put it in things.
That's
and so
the smoothies
I put it in kale, or I chop it up and I put it in fried rice. I chop it up and I put it in, like, I have like this pulled pork or pulled chicken, and I actually chop up kale and put it in there. And they see it. It's not snuck because it's like, hey, what is this green stuff in my food? But it's just the way I cook, and they've become really, really used to it. They've just
and I love how they are starting both a little bit now. It seems to help you in the kitchen. Like, I'm not going to sneak on her and say, no, you go watch Nickelodeon, and I'm zoodling and then making spaghetti and mixing it up.
Yeah.
But yes, I laugh that for some reason I don't like zucchini, but you're right, I do like it in things. So I need to try the zoodles.
I don't have a spiraler. I generally don't hop on I got my mandolin this year for Christmas, like one of those thin slice.
I know. I'm not even a cooker. I love the mandolins.
It's the first mandolin I've ever owned, and I was, for like 2 weeks, all I did was like thin sliced sweet potatoes. I was just fascinated. And I'm like just making all these weird sweet potato things, and I'm like, but it's just a fun texture, and I'm like, I can't wait to get my hands on like fresh beets or something that I can thin and do like raw. The funny thing is, now that I have one, I don't know what to use it for. But before, and I didn't have one, I thought, oh, I need a mandolin for that. Oh, I need a mandolin.
That was me with the spiralizer, so I got it. I just think spiral things are so fun. And I'm really focusing on with my daughter, and she actually gets it and kind of does it herself now at 9, which I love. And it is the whole wycwyc mindset that we always talk about, but it's how we live, that she might say, okay, yes, I'd rather have half zoodles, half pasta, because then I can have whatever it is later. It's all the swaps. It's like you can't do everything all the time, whether it's all Nickelodeon and nothing educational. It's just everything in moderation is great. But I want her to get excited the way at least Ryan seems super excited to be with you in the kitchen.
I don't know. He seems excited sometimes, but it's a lot of pulling teeth. I don't have a problem. It's funny, I wrote a post about this a couple months ago about trying to raise healthy kids. And one of my points was sometimes you have to be the mean mom. So sometimes I force him to help me in the kitchen, to be honest. But what I learned was, and what I shared was, is that there's only about 1 to 2 minutes of forcing, and then they embrace it every time. Like, there's this like tipping point where you could tell, like, if you think about with anything with your kids, like get off the computer or read a book or go outside and play, and they always like, kids hate change. So if you're telling them to stop doing what they're doing and then to start doing something else, there's always complaining. I don't want to do that. I don't want to help you in the kitchen. I'm playing with my friend, whatever it might be. But then if you get over that hump and go, no, really, come in the kitchen and help me. I need your help. Within 30
stuff, like
within 30 seconds, we're chatting about something else, and he's like totally engaged. It's like you have to get over that hump. So I'm just really good at getting over that hump, or I've been getting better at it, because sometimes I walk away, like I'll be one of those parents where I ask him to do something, and then he doesn't do it, and then I take a big deep sigh, and I'm like, no. I now have to make him do it because I asked him to do it. I was like, and I thought, this is going to suck for about 1 minute, and then it'll be over, and that's how it always is. Like this morning, I did a really quick story this morning. He had a 2-hour delay because of the snow, and I said, you need to empty the dishwasher, and he like he was on the computer playing Minecraft, because that's all kids do nowadays is play Minecraft. And I said, you need to empty the dishwasher before school. I don't want it. And he does like the drama. Like, I don't want to do it. I go, okay, oh, well, now you need to vacuum. And he's like, he looks at me with those deer in headlights, like, oh, crap. And then he went to complain again. And I'm like, please don't make me add another thing. So then, of course, like 20 minutes went by, and he still hasn't emptied it. And I was like, did you empty the dishwasher yet? And then so he's down here emptying the dishwasher, and then he was done. And I said, okay, we'll grab the vacuum. And he's like, you were serious? I really have to vacuum? And I go, yes, you really have to vacuum. But it was one of those moments where I like had to follow through, and then he vacuumed and it was over and he like happily walked to school. Like it was, But
Well, and it's the same thing. All of life is the same thing. Once you commit, you have to follow through with any of this stuff, with like
yeah,
parenting, fitness, marriage. It's all the same.
it is all the same, isn't it? It's sometimes we don't think it is on the
No,
surface,
it's
but then you
all the
start to
same.
think about it.
My big thing that I'm trying to commit to, you already do, as evidenced by the words sliced beets that would never come out of my mouth, is that I was skimming the wycwyc hashtag. Two things. First of all, and now I can't remember who said it. We will be better about this in future podcasts.
Yes, we're trying to get better.
Yes, because I had it all screenshot, and then now we're in the Google Hangout, but there have been a number of people tweeting, and you say it all the time, and I'm just going to own it. It's the get in the kitchen, make real food. Now I do, but I tend to do the easy route all the time, not because I'm busy, but just because I don't define myself as someone who's great in the kitchen. But so
Right.
I'll do the pre-made salad, which is fine sometimes, but I've seen a lot of people using the wycwyc hashtag talking about eat real food, get in your kitchen. It's fun.
Right.
So I've seen that. Yes.
That
I
is
need
what
to
wait,
commit
I'm
it.
trying to find now the one, because there was a great one that made me laugh out loud. And it might be the one that you're thinking, like a great wycwyc mention.
I'm
And
afraid to touch anything on the
it's,
computer.
oh, I know. I'm like multitasking. This is
See, I would be out of the hangout in a millisecond.
Of course,
And
I don't have.
everybody walking the steps. I have to say that too before I forget. Elena Parks said she was
Oh,
doing
yes.
laps in her house last night, and her husband, Brian, shout out to Brian, said, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Wycwyc, I can't get out of the house. Snow, I'm going to get my 10,000 steps." So she was doing house laps, which is something that I probably should get inspired to do on those heavy writing days.
The only time I did I do house laps when I'm on conference calls. I try. It's funny because sometimes I'll be on the call and I'll be sitting here at my desk, and sometimes I need to be at my desk because you need the computer or whatever. But then
Now
other
I'm
times
imagining you doing this, walking laps with your
with my laptop.
laptop.
And then sometimes I'll realize I'm sitting here for like 5 minutes just listening in on a conference call, and then I'm like, oh, I should walk, and then I like start to do paces around my office. So I do that, which is funny.
And it's so hard on the snow days.
I did. It is hard on the snow days to go outside. And I walk Evan to school. It's about a mile there and back, and I have it now because of the snow and the cold, and I'm like, I need to get back into that habit. Even though I should bundle us up and try to do it at least once a week. Oh, here it is. Here's my favorite wycwyc of the week. Ready? It's from Jennifer, and her Twitter account is Jen_Dawn_A, and it says, when you're eating a salad for lunch, but what you really want is macaroni and cheese. Wycwyc.
I love that.
That one cracked me up because I was like, there's so many times where it's like, yes, I'm going to have this bowl of soup, but I really want to order pizza right now.
And isn't that like the biggest thing when you make that choice and it's a feeling of empowerment and the gaining the momentum that propels you to that next good choice.
It is. Yeah, and it's funny because there are some times where like having the mac and cheese is the right choice. And then there's times where it's not the right choice. And there's something about only you know the answer to that.
Yes, I love it. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Because it's always the right choice and it's always the wrong choice. It's just the personal choice. Wherever you are right now.
There really is no right or wrong, but it's like the one thing that I kind of pride myself on in the last few years is being really honest with myself. I think once you get to a level of being really honest with yourself, you're able to almost give yourself permission to do things that you otherwise like used to feel guilty about or punish yourself about. So like when you're being really honest, you're like, no, I really just want a chocolate chip cookie right now. I just want one, and because I want one, and that's and then other times the restraining from the chocolate chip cookie is like, you know what? I had a big weekend. We had lots of parties. I really don't need that chocolate chip cookie. There's you just start to be honest with yourself, I guess.
And it's that with everything. Like, I don't feel like working out today just because I'm not really in the mood, or I am truly wiped to my core. No, today I need to just take a rest day. And it is that working towards being honest, because we know. We all have that. Yeah. It takes tapping into, but that little voice where we really know in our core.
Yeah. Well, when you stop giving yourself excuses, like that's what we talked about last week, right? The whole, you don't need an excuse when you are actually honest with you just don't need an excuse when you just are who you are and you do what you do.
No,
Yeah.
I so agree with that. And the other day, wrap up, it is the wycwyc. I skipped doing any kind of movement, got a cup of coffee, and then wrote on the paper cup, hashtag, did not Instagram it or anything, just for me, wycwyc. It's fine. I'm doing nothing. I should be working. I should be volunteering at school. I should be taking the dog out, but I just sat on my booty, and I knew I was doing what I could when I could, and in that moment, it was doing nothing. Wycwyc.
It's funny. My favorite, and I think we did talk about this last year, is when my husband uses it still, because he'll say, I'll be like, I really should go to bed right now, but I'm procrastinating and I don't want to do it. And he's like, wycwyc, go to bed. And I'm like, okay, got it.
Yes.
Like the littlest thing. The littlest thing. The other, well, we have about 5 minutes left. The other, we shared a post this week because we got one of our first real official submitted stories from Amanda, which was amazing.
Yes,
and I can't, well, everyone can see it on the wycwyc blog, so I'm not going to read her whole post. But
so where is this? The wycwyc blog?
It's on wycwyc.com, which is wycwyc.com, and we have a blog aspect, so we're going to share people's stories. And Amanda's story is great because there was two parts. One was food-centric and one was workout-centric. So she has young kids and she's home and she says, I really wanted to get on the treadmill, but I knew the kids were going to wake up, and I thought, why bother? You know, and there's this, it's like, I feel like the why bother is like the yang of wycwyc. It's like the opposite end of the wycwyc spectrum, the why bother, which is like, why bother? I'm not going to look like a supermodel, or why bother? I'm not going to be able to eat perfect tomorrow. Exactly, yeah. So that's like the opposite of wycwyc. And so this time, instead of saying, why bother, the kids are just going to wake up from their nap anyway, so I'm not going to get on the treadmill, she's like, you know what, wycwyc, I'm getting on the treadmill. And she got on the treadmill, and the kids actually slept like an extra 40 minutes, and she got all this time on the treadmill. But her quote was like, and then this is, I love, like, it just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. She said, well, something amazing happened. I actually thought wycwyc and said it to myself in my head. And I thought, oh my God.
I read that in the kitchen, and I was like, actually, because I'm a huge goober, said, oh my gosh, if you could see the smile on my face, and then I had to take a picture and send it to her.
Oh, did you? That's so fun.
I was like, this is me. But I know it's just that, because it's the whole, it's the book, it's the blog, it's the hashtag. None of it is about us. It's all about propelling everybody else forward, and it made me smile so hard that it was wycwyc, and she jumped on there, and
so fun.
I know.
It makes me so happy. We have a lot of new people at our gym right now, and there's a lot of, like, this is kind of like the New Year's where like new people started. So we have, in the morning class, there's always like the same 8 people, and it's great. We have such a great, strong bond, and like we push each other and we cheer each other on, and it's just a great environment. And then all these people kind of came in, and there's a handful of new people, and we talked about last week, like this is the week that people, or last week was the week that people, and you can see some of them are starting to, and we're like trying to hold them to the group. I'm like, no, stay, keep coming, it's working, you're doing great, you're not going to lose all your weight in like 3 weeks, you got to keep at it. And it's just, nothing makes me happier than to see other people kind of just go for it, and I don't know, just get over their own mental hump, you know. I think because I was stuck in a mental hump for so many years, so
and feeling self-conscious.
Yeah, I just get so much pleasure when I see people like going, no, I did it, and I'm like, yes, I'm like, just want to cheer for them. It's just great, so fun.
I love that. It is baby steps to big things in every single thing, every facet of life.
Yes.
On that note,
if we were really good at this podcast thing, we would be able to preview what we were going to talk about next week.
I was thinking that same thing as I'm talking, like, coming next week. I am not doing another half marathon, so we have more stuff to talk about, so that's out. Super Bowl. Oh, it could be a good Super Bowl.
Oh, Super Bowl. Let's hop on the typical what will be out this week on social media, like waste-friendly Super Bowl snacks.
Oh my gosh, everybody's talking about the Super Bowl apps, and I'm not even a big app person, like on my phone, but I seriously thought that's what they were talking about. Like, I don't need another app for the Super Bowl.
Advertisers.
I was like, I'm just going to watch the game or not watch the game. Who needs an app? And then I realized it went on to say, like, shrimp cocktail and salsa. It's like, oh, wrong app. But
We
we'll be
were
back.
we were between wings and meatball subs, just to give you an insider into what we shall be eating on
We
our
are
Super Bowl Sunday.
hardcore Steelers fans, and the Steelers are out, so I'll be roller skating. I'm not a roller skater. I always fall, but baby steps. I'm going to get on roller
We
skates.
we watch for the commercials. I'm gonna be really honest.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and we're Ravens fans, so you know we live in Baltimore. I'm like a Ravens fan through birth. Does that mean? So
That's me.
I'm not really a big football fan, but now my kids are growing up and they were born and raised outside of Baltimore. So it's like I'm now a fan because they are fans. Like
And Steelers fans are crazy. So we've
yeah,
moved all over the country, and we're still hardcore Steelers.
it's funny. Okay, I think we are wrapping up our second episode of the wycwyc
Season
podcast.
1. We'll be back in a week, and until
We'll be
then,
back in a week. Wycwyc.
wycwyc.
Bye, guys. All right, we did it.
We did to it. I laughed that while we were going back and forth, I thought, are we supposed to have a preview of coming attractions? I don't know what the coming attractions are.
That's so funny that we were supposed thinking the same thing.
Okay, so I will see you in a week, and I will have roller skated. What are you going to do?